Good morning, everyone. Not every battle deserves our attention. One of the greatest tests of intelligence is not how well we argue, but how wisely we choose our responses. Throughout history, truly intelligent people have understood that peace of mind is more valuable than winning pointless conflicts. Today we'll explore a timeless lesson inspired by Marcus Aurelius: how intelligent people deal with stupid people. This is not about feeling superior to others. It's about mastering yourself when faced with ignorance, negativity, or irrational behavior. Imagine standing in the middle of a crowded street where everyone is shouting. One person insults another. Someone loses their temper over a tiny mistake. A stranger says something unfair, and within seconds emotions spread from one person to another like fire through dry grass. In such moments, most people believe acting immediately is a sign of strength. They think the louder voice wins, the sharper reply proves intelligence, and the quickest comeback earns respect. But history and human nature tell a different story. The truly intelligent person understands that the first victory is not over another person. It is over one's own emotions. Marcus Aurelius believed that the mind is our greatest possession. Everything outside us is uncertain. People's opinions change, their behavior changes, circumstances change, but the way we choose to respond always remains within our control. This idea may sound simple, yet it is one of the hardest disciplines to practice because our emotions naturally push us toward immediate reaction. Anger wants revenge. Pride wants recognition. Fear wants protection. Ego wants to prove itself right. Intelligence asks a different question. Will this reaction improve the situation, or will it make it worse? Many people confuse reaction with action. They are not the same. A reaction is automatic. It happens without careful thought. It is driven by emotion. An action is deliberate, comes after observation, reflection, and self-control. Intelligent people do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. They create a small space between what happens to them and how they respond. In that tiny space lies wisdom. Think about how often people regret words spoken in anger. An argument that lasts 5 minutes can damage a friendship built over 10 years. A careless sentence can destroy trust that took months to earn. A single emotional decision can lead to consequences that cannot easily be reversed. The intelligent person understands this reality. Before speaking, they pause. Before responding, they think. Before acting, they consider the long-term effects instead of the short-term satisfaction. Calmness is often misunderstood as weakness because it lacks drama. Society frequently celebrates those who respond quickly, argue passionately, and dominate conversations. Yet the strongest people are often the quietest in moments of conflict. They have learned that self-control requires more courage than emotional outbursts. Anyone can lose their temper. Anyone can shout, anyone can insult. But remaining calm while others lose control demands discipline that few people possess. Imagine someone insulting you in front of others. Your heart beats faster, your face grows warm. Your mind immediately searches for a sharp response. Every instinct tells you to defend yourself. At that moment, you face two battles. The first battle is with the other person. The second battle is within yourself. Most people focus entirely on the first battle and lose the second without even noticing. Intelligent people reverse this order. They win the internal battle first. Once they control themselves, they can decide whether the external battle is even worth fighting. This is why emotional mastery is more valuable than intellectual brilliance alone. A person may have extraordinary knowledge, impressive education, and remarkable skills, but if they cannot control their emotions under pressure, much of that intelligence becomes ineffective. Knowledge tells you what to do. Wisdom determines when and how to do it. Calmness allows wisdom to lead instead of emotion. Consider the ocean during a storm. Waves crash violently against the surface, creating noise and chaos. Yet deep beneath the surface, the water remains still. Intelligent people strive to become like those deeper waters. They recognize that life's storms may shake the surface of their emotions, but they refuse to let those storms control their deepest thoughts and values. One reason people react emotionally is because they take everything personally. They assume every rude comment is an attack on their worth. Every criticism feels like rejection. Every disagreement becomes a personal insult. Marcus Aurelius encouraged people to see situations differently. Often, another person's behavior reveals more about their own character than about yours. Someone who is angry may be carrying hidden pain. Someone who constantly insults others may be struggling with insecurity. Someone who spreads negativity may have never learned emotional maturity. Understanding this does not excuse bad behavior, but it changes how we interpret it. When you stop taking every negative action personally, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional suffering. You no longer feel responsible for every rude remark or every unreasonable opinion. Instead of asking, "Why are they treating me this way?" you begin asking, "What kind of inner struggle might make someone behave like this?" This shift transforms anger into understanding and resentment into perspective. Remaining calm also protects your ability to think clearly. Neuroscience tells us that intense emotions reduce our capacity for logical reasoning. When anger takes control, people often exaggerate problems, misunderstand intentions, and make impulsive decisions. A calm mind, however, processes information more accurately. It notices details that emotional minds overlook. It identifies solutions instead of creating additional problems. Think about successful leaders throughout history. During moments of crisis, people naturally look toward individuals who remain composed. Panic spreads quickly, but calmness spreads as well. A leader who stays calm gives confidence to everyone around them. Their steady presence reassures others that difficulties can be handled with wisdom instead of fear. In everyday life, the same principle applies. Families experience disagreements. Friends misunderstand each other. Colleagues make mistakes. Strangers behave rudely. If every difficult interaction receives an emotional response, life becomes exhausting. Intelligent people preserve their energy by refusing to react to every small irritation. They recognize that not every comment deserves an answer, not every criticism deserves a defense, and not every provocation deserves attention. There is another important reason for staying calm. Emotional reactions often give power to the very people trying to disturb your peace. Some individuals intentionally provoke others because they enjoy creating conflict. They seek emotional responses because those reactions make them feel influential. When you remain calm, you deny them that satisfaction. Your peace becomes something they cannot control. Imagine someone throwing mud at a clean window. If you immediately wipe it carelessly with your hands, you spread the dirt everywhere. But if you wait, observe carefully, and clean it properly, the window remains clear. Our minds work similarly. Immediate reactions often spread emotional confusion. Calm responses preserve mental clarity. Patience is closely connected with calmness. Intelligent people understand that time often solves problems that emotions only complicate. Many conflicts lose their intensity after a few hours or days. Words that seemed unbearable yesterday appear insignificant today. Decisions that felt urgent suddenly become clearer after rest and reflection. Waiting is not always avoidance. Sometimes waiting is wisdom. Modern life constantly encourages instant reactions. Social media rewards immediate opinions. News spreads rapidly. Messages demand quick replies. Public debates encourage emotional responses instead of thoughtful discussion. In such an environment, calmness becomes even more valuable because it is increasingly rare. The person who refuses to be controlled by constant emotional stimulation gains a significant advantage over those who react to everything. Silence often plays an important role in remaining calm. Many people fear silence because they believe it makes them appear weak. In reality, silence can demonstrate confidence. It shows that you are not desperate to defend every opinion or respond to every accusation. Intelligent people recognize that silence creates space for better judgment. Sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. Consider two people arguing. One continues shouting while the other listens quietly. Observers often notice something surprising. The calm individual appears stronger even without saying much. Why? Because emotional stability naturally communicates confidence. People instinctively trust those who demonstrate self-control more than those who display uncontrolled emotion. Remaining calm does not mean suppressing emotions forever. Emotions are natural. Anger, disappointment, frustration, and sadness all have their place. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to prevent them from becoming your master. Intelligent people acknowledge what they feel without allowing those feelings to dictate every action. They understand that emotions provide information, not commands. Another misconception is that calm people never defend themselves. This is false. They simply choose the right moment, the right words, and the right approach. Instead of reacting impulsively, they respond strategically. Their goal is not emotional satisfaction, but effective communication. They understand that truth delivered calmly often carries more weight than truth shouted in anger. Self-respect grows through self-control. Every time you resist the urge to react emotionally, you strengthen your character. Every moment of patience becomes evidence that your mind governs your emotions instead of the other way around. Over time, this discipline transforms not only your behavior but also your confidence. You begin trusting yourself because you know difficult situations will not easily shake your judgment. Life constantly presents opportunities to practice calmness. Someone interrupts you, someone misunderstands your intentions, someone criticizes your work unfairly, someone spreads rumors, someone behaves disrespectfully. Each situation becomes a test, not of your intelligence alone, but of your emotional maturity. Passing these tests rarely brings applause from the crowd, yet it builds something far more valuable: a stable character. The Stoic philosophers often reminded themselves that they could not control external events, only their responses. This principle remains practical today. Traffic delays, unexpected problems, difficult coworkers, financial setbacks, disappointments, and criticism all belong to the external world. Your response belongs to your internal world. When you focus your energy on what you can actually control, you experience greater peace and effectiveness. Imagine carrying a cup filled to the very top with water. Every small bump causes it to spill. Many people live this way emotionally. Every criticism, inconvenience, or emotional overflow. Intelligent people gradually increase their emotional capacity. Their inner balance allows them to encounter difficulties without immediately spilling anger, fear, or frustration into every situation. There is remarkable freedom in refusing to react impulsively. You are no longer controlled by the opinions of strangers. You are no longer manipulated by insults. You are no longer trapped in endless cycles of conflict. Instead, you become someone who chooses responses based on values rather than emotions. People often remember calm individuals long after they forget the loudest voices. Why? Because composure leaves a lasting impression. It communicates maturity, confidence, reliability, and wisdom. Others begin seeking advice from those who remain steady during chaos because stability inspires trust. Children learn emotional behavior by observing adults. Employees observe leaders. Friends observe each other. Families create emotional habits together. When one person consistently responds with calmness instead of anger, that behavior quietly influences everyone nearby. Self-control becomes contagious just as emotional outbursts do. Every difficult person you encounter becomes an unexpected teacher. They reveal how much control you truly have over yourself. If another person's behavior instantly determines your mood, your peace depends on circumstances beyond your control. But if you remain calm regardless of external behavior, your peace comes from within, where no one else can easily take it away. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that each new day would bring encounters with difficult, selfish, ignorant, or unreasonable people. Instead of becoming surprised or offended, he prepared his mind in advance. This preparation reduced emotional shock because he accepted that human imperfection is part of life. Expectations influence reactions. When we expect perfection from imperfect people, disappointment becomes inevitable. When we expect occasional flaws, patience becomes easier. Calmness is not something people are born with. It is developed through repeated practice. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to strengthen emotional discipline. Like a muscle, self-control grows stronger with consistent use. At first, remaining calm may feel difficult. Later it becomes natural. Eventually it becomes part of your character, shaping every conversation, every decision, and every relationship.